We were talking about this phase in life where we now get to choose what it is we want to do. You've gotten your younglings to a point where they're surviving, and so they can come along with you now on this adventure. And it is about the light that we have to give, the light that we have to share. And part of that is modeling it for the next generation to come. And whether we embrace hustle culture or rise in defiance of it, that's all well within our right to choose.
Hey friend, lately I've been thinking so much about how important it is that the women who hold space also have spaces where they get to exhale. Women who support others and who lead and who listen deeply and who are carrying a lot, which is part of why I created Reiki by the Sea, a residency for Reiki practitioners in Depot Bay, Oregon, June 28th through July 1st. Only 4 spots total. This is an intimate oceanfront space for Reiki practitioners to receive, reconnect, breathe, rest, regulate, expand, and remember themselves again alongside other deeply caring women. And honestly, this panel conversation feels connected to all of this, because what unfolds in this episode is such a real conversation about what it actually feels like to hold so much as women. Caretaking, entrepreneurship, creativity, motherhood, perimenopause, leadership, nervous system regulation, boundaries, sisterhood, the invisible emotional labor so many women are carrying quietly every day. And there is so much honesty here, so much wisdom, so much permission to soften without giving up on yourself or your dreams. I think many women are going to feel deeply seen by this one. Welcome to The Authentic Creative, where we expand our capacity to feel good one deep breath, one bold choice, and maybe a little bit of magic at a time. I'm Siri Baruch Thornton, healer, creative, and lifelong explorer of all things energy, self-expression, and joy. With over 26 years of experience in Reiki, Akashic Records, and transformational breathwork, I've learned that feeling good is not a luxury, it's a practice. And sometimes it's a little messy. This podcast is here to help you trust your intuition, break the rules, the ones that need breaking, and live more fully in your gifts. So give yourself a deep breath, get cozy, and let's dive in.
We just were a part of a beautiful breathwork session because these women showed up with their whole hearts, their whole breath, their whole selves. What a wonderful honor it is to get to hold space for each of you in the ways that I've gotten to. You're all on such incredible growth edges. You're all so committed. The people that I attract are always so committed to their growth. And I think that's the sexiest thing in the world is women that are completely dedicated to their growth and completely dedicated to being of service to themselves and to the world. And I want to commend you for that journey, because walking that path is a big deal and it's not always easy, but it's the best. So I read a poem at the end of our breath work, and I want to read it again for our listeners. It says, "You don't have to lead, you get to listen. You don't have to hold everything, you get to be present. You don't have to have the answer, you get to stay with what's real. You don't have to prove your worth through how much you carry. You get to soften into what is already enough. You don't have to choose between caring for others and caring for yourself. You get to include yourself in the circle of your own devotion. You don't have to arrive polished or certain. You get to arrive as you are. Here in this space, nothing is asking you to perform, only to feel, only to notice, only to be." I want to give safe space for anyone that feels comfortable sharing anything at all about their experience. How are you feeling now in your body? How was that experience for you?
I'll go first. I just want to say thank you, Siri, for inviting us. It's always such a pleasure and like a gift that you give us, your breath work. I've got rid of a bunch of anger and frustration today, so that feels good.
I love it.
Yeah. So, well,
Yeah.
we'll see where that takes me.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to be here and to do your breath work again.
You're so welcome. And thank you for showing up for yourself and giving yourself the permission to go for it and to release that. And we all benefit. And I got to do it with you. So that was really good for me too. I was right there with you. Yeah.
I want to say thank you so much, Siri. That was amazing. And I kind of knew I needed to release some things, but it was incredibly clear the second the music started, the second I started breathing, sobbing, and everything released so quickly and effortlessly. And I feel much more open and relaxed, and I'm grateful. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful to you, Johanna, because watching you and witnessing you go through your breathwork journeys is so cathartic for me because I'm like, yes, she's going for it. Like, obviously, as being a professional trained actor, you're so connected to your body and your expression that it's just a really fun experience to witness that.
Well, that's kind of saying you would think that I would be, but honestly, I was holding that in for a long time. So I would think that I'm very connected to my body and I can release, and I know how to do this, but no, I needed the guidance and I needed the container that you created. So thank you.
You're so welcome. I love you.
It's interesting because knowing the things to help release and connect to our bodies, and then we don't practice them. So being in a container like this, it's I need to do it, and not realizing how desperately I needed to do it. So yes, I third it. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful for even being here. There was just so much that came out and I was screaming. So clearly there was a lot that needed to come out and it came out. So thank you.
Yeah. You were like, we're good. I'm safe. Earth's gonna shake. Earth's gonna shake when women express. And that's just our power. I love it. Well, thank you, Elizabeth, for diving in with me, for trusting the process, for going with it, and also for all of you sharing how much that we need this because even as facilitators, Tabitha also facilitates breathwork too. We need it the most. We need it because we have to be our most released, most expansive, most dropped in self if we're going to serve others and be safe space for other people. So we need it more than anyone. And also as caretakers. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Stephanie, how are you doing, love?
It's an honor to be with all of you amazing ladies, and I feel great. I've gotten a chance to do some breathwork sessions with you, and it just always feels amazing. And I just really appreciate the safe space that you create for us and allow us to give ourselves over to an experience that's just truly for us to reach our highest selves and feel our best for ourselves and for our families and communities. I always feel great after, so thank you.
So good. I have the privilege of getting to facilitate for Stephanie in person because she's my neighbor. And she just happens to also be an actor and an entrepreneur and a mom, so we have so much in common. Okay, ladies, I'm going to introduce you very briefly. So, our incredible panelists here, just to get a sense of what their zones of genius are. Heather Dimmick is the creator of What's the Whisper product line and host of the What's That Whisper podcast, reminding others to hear the whispers that call to us. Johanna Watts is an actress, writer, and producer and director, bringing a deeply intuitive and emotionally attuned approach to storytelling that centers light, connection, and creative expression. Miss Elizabeth Munoz, known as the Radiant CEO, founder of Soul Haven, guiding high capacity women to become the chief emotional officers of their personal lives and businesses, dissolve the quotes, too much, not enough paradox, and reclaim their radiance through nervous system coherence and soul led leadership. Stephanie Fedor is a self-proclaimed actorpreneur, a professional actor from a young age. She's also an entrepreneur as the co-founder of Authenticity 50, an American-made home goods company that just celebrated its 10th anniversary. A mom of two young boys, she strives to balance her creative and work endeavors with motherhood and be a force of good for her community. Tabitha DeBrun is a transformational breath master, entrepreneur, mom, and author, helping high-achieving women regulate their nervous systems, reconnect to themselves, and turn burnout into clarity, vitality, purpose, and optimized human potential. Stephanie Minter, DO, Dr. Steph is a physician who, after years of prioritizing others, slowly lost touch with herself, learning that life requires more than resilience. It requires reconnection. Her current focus is helping high achievers reconnect with themselves and nature to release patterns of self-abandonment while creating lives rooted in clarity, authenticity, balance, and fulfillment. Robin Cohen holds a BFA from Juilliard School and an MFA from the Shakespeare Theater Company in DC. She's been acting professionally for 33 years in theater, film, and television, opposite such artists as Bill Murray, Cate Blanchett, Jeff Goldblum. She's been training actors for 20 years and is the founder of the Cohen Acting Studio, where she coaches artists and public speakers across all mediums. Robin is the happy host of Thriving Artists, the Daily Joyride with Robin Cohen podcast. So, gals, here's a poem. Some days it looks like this: a child crying in the morning, and the whole house shifting around that. Plans dissolving, timelines slipping, someone needing you more than the schedule does. And you standing there, feeling the pull of both worlds, the one you are building and the one that is already in your arms. There is a cost to caring this much. It lives in the unfinished things, the posts not written, the rooms not filled, the energy it takes to hold space for others while also trying to create something of your own. These are days where it feels like nothing is moving fast enough, and still you keep showing up. You go out into the world anyway. You talk to people. You ask again. You carry your work in your hands and offer it over and over. You learn how to not take it personally. You learn how to keep your heart open, even when the answer is not yet. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, something begins to root, like moss growing quietly along stone, like a river shaping its path without needing permission. This is what it means to build a life, to tend and to create at the same time, to hold a child in the morning and a vision in the afternoon, to feel tired and still trust that something is working even when you cannot yet see it. The benefit is not always immediate. It is in the becoming, in the steadiness you learn, in the way you begin to trust yourself, in the way your children or the people you caretake watch you and understand without words what it means to care deeply and keep going. Nothing about this is clean. Nothing about it is perfectly balanced. And still, it is real. And still, it is enough. And still, you are building something that will hold. So please don't feel left out if I emphasized children, because a few of you are caretakers in your own right, and we all caretake in this room in our various ways. So this is an all-encompassing conversation for the listeners. Just know whether you're a caretaker of a pet, of an elderly person, of a sibling, of your clients, this includes you. So I want to start with Heather, and I just want to ask you, Heather, we have so many seasons as women in midlife. I mean, I don't know how old we all are, but I'm just going to say midlife. Elizabeth, you look so young to me. I won't ask you to say your age, but like, okay, as women that are not young, but young in spirit, young in heart, we have so many phases that we go through in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year, in 10 years. So if we've been here for several decades, like a handful of decades, like what in this moment of your soul's evolution, Heather, is present for you as a caretaker because you're so dedicated as a mother. You're so dedicated at your job, serving women with clothes, and so dedicated with helping women declutter, and so dedicated as a friend. You support so many other women. What is present for you about caretaking, being married with entrepreneurship? What's the struggle? What are the wins? What are you learning?
I was just thinking you were basically writing that poem for me, because that's
Mm,
like how I feel. Like it's always trying to juggle so many different hats. And I'm in customer service and I love it. I love to take care of people. And I'm just like, tell me what you need so I know what to do. Sometimes you got to do that at your house. You need your kids to speak up to what they really want. So there's that. And then I think I just am trying to run a business. So I feel like you're talking to me exactly today because I'm like, oh my gosh, sometimes there's not time to do all the things that I want to do. But honestly, I just really like caring for others. And that's just who I've been my whole life. My friends would make fun of me growing up doing that. And that's just who I
mm,
naturally am. They'd be like, okay, Heather, you're just going to take care of everybody. And that's just what I would do naturally. And it fills my heart a lot.
mm.
And it
Yeah.
is sometimes hard to balance everything, but you just figure it out.
Yeah. And so you help people declutter their homes. That's
I
part
do
of
like to
what,
do that. That's
yeah.
fun. Yeah.
So talk to me about the women that you help, like you've helped me a few times declutter my
Yeah.
home. What do you notice when you're decluttering those homes about the women, what they're holding, what they're carrying, what they're clinging on to? How does it help them to be able to show up better for people and be of service the way you love to be?
Yeah. And I think that can go for anybody. Anything that you're trying to shift, or even if I'm helping them at the store to buy a bunch of things, you just try to simplify it and
Hmm.
make it so it can be executed well and you feel overwhelmed. And I try really hard to take the overwhelm away from everybody.
You
And
do.
like, yeah, and I think I'm really good at that.
You
So,
are.
and I'm just like, okay, we're only going to think about this right here and not all the other things that are in your closet. And just start with one section of it and just break it down into little pockets because I think that's easier for us to digest.
And I just want to say that recently I redid my office yesterday after interviewing a woman on the panel who's all about this as well. And the way that I feel looking around my office today is just 100% better. I just feel so, it's such an expression of our internal world. Not only is it about decluttering, it's like, how do we want to empower ourselves? What is the version of ourselves that we want to show up as? And when I walk into my closet that you've helped me with, and I've let it go and it's a fucking mess, I feel a fucking mess inside. When I walk into my closet and I've folded everything, okay, some days we're just not gonna get to it. That's okay too. We have to give ourselves grace. But when I've organized and I've cleansed and I've cleared out my spaces, I genuinely feel so calm and good, and everyone around me feels it too because they see those spaces, they see that intentionality, that they see that love and that care. So I think the work that you do is so important. So thank
Well,
you,
thank
Heather.
you. Thank you, Sierra. I think that's what you do with breath work too. You clean out the other closets that we need to work on.
Oh my God, you're so good.
Hey, my closet's a mess right now, so I know how it feels to feel overwhelmed. But I have other things to do, like hang out here.
Yeah, hang out here.
That's right.
This is the stuff. All right. Thank you, Heather. And so, Johanna, I want to come to you. You're going to be directing a project.
Yeah.
That's a big leap forward. Not that you've never directed before, right? Because you have, yeah.
Yeah,
But this is a new level, I believe.
that's right.
So, talk to me. You're a very dedicated mother. You're a very dedicated wife. You have a husband who's very hard at work, being a very successful screenwriter. You have two houses you're managing. I'm sure there's 1,000 other things because you have your rainbow project.
Mhm.
Tell
Yeah.
me about in this moment in time, just like I asked Heather, what is present for you in terms of what's the struggle? What are the wins? What are you learning?
Thank you, Siri. The poem you wrote could also felt exactly directed to me. The thing that's up for me right now is twofold. One is a lot of listening. There are so many things happening in my life, things you didn't mention either, that are great, really exciting. I want all of it. If I look at it all at once, I get overwhelmed and I want to drop out of half of it.
Yeah.
My closet is absolutely a mess. I need to call Heather. But I accept that I'm not going to get to everything perfectly. And I'm just doing exactly what's in front of me in that moment. So, what I'm working with right now is being very, very present to what is needed in this very moment and trusting that that's going to be enough to then move on to the next thing and do exactly what's needed for that moment.
Mm.
Knowing that I probably can't do it all, but that I am connected to a much wider community of people and that I'm not creating in a bubble, that I'm absolutely, as a filmmaker, every film is an orchestra. Every film requires a huge concert of artists to work together. And so while I'm directing it, it's more like a conductor. I don't have to
Mm.
play every instrument, although I want to, and I have strong opinions about every instrument. I have to let some things go.
Yeah.
So presence, listening, and trusting that I'm connected to a wide web of divine creative collaborators.
Yeah, and I know you, so I know that wide web of divine creative collaborators also includes the unseen.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's the trusting piece too, right? So I'm curious for you, what is that unseen piece that you feel supported by, whether it's God or universe or angels or what have you?
It's all of it. Yes, yes, that's what it is. So for me, the unseen divine is expressed through all things. It's expressed through other people. It's expressed when I wake up in the middle of the night, because, we all have a few decades now, and I do wake up sometimes in the middle of the night and I want to go back to sleep and I can't. And what I've been shifting to, rather than struggling against it, is welcoming that solitude and that quiet and trusting that, like, maybe something is available to come through in that moment that I could listen for. And
Mm.
allow my body to quiet and my mind to quiet and to be receptive, it becomes a little bit more of a gift to be in that moment. And I try to find those moments throughout the day to just drop in to my body or to the connection, to the conversation that I'm in right now, and listen for the divine within that.
Yeah, I love that you're changing that from what could be, why am I so tortured in this moment? I need a good night's sleep, to what is here for me? What am I being called to? What do I need to listen to? Is the moon calling me? What is available? Because that's such a powerful shift. Yeah.
Yeah, well, part of it too is because the project I'm working on involves some kind of witchy magic.
Mm.
And these early hours of the morning, between 3 and 5 a.m., that was referred to as the witching hour.
Ah, yeah.
Partly
Okay.
because
I thought it was between 5 p.m. and like 10 p.m.
my
But maybe.
understanding is that it's the very, very early
Okay.
hours of the morning are called the
Okay.
witching hour because older women were called witches because older women had the wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what else happens to older women? We wake up in the middle of the night. And they would wake up in the middle of the night, and because they were ostracized, they would go out and meet in the early hours and go outside and do things. And so it was called the witching hour. But because I'm
Mm-hmm.
waking up sometimes at that hour, I thought, I'm going to listen for this because maybe there's something here I need to know.
Yes, and it's listening to the whisper, right, Heather?
Yes.
Yeah, I love this. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so Stephanie, you have 10 years of being an entrepreneur in a very rewarding but very challenging business of home goods. I recently got Stephanie's sheets. They're incredible.
Thank you so
They're
much.
all American made. So you're employing like 1,000 people when you buy a set of sheets, is that right?
So our supply chain supports over like 1,000 people across the country, from the growing of the cotton to the spinning of the yarn, weaving the fabric, cutting and sewing. And there's so much involved in textiles, especially in
Yes.
the United States. And so I appreciate you saying that. It does support a very large supply chain across the country.
Yeah, and it's so good for the environment. So you're so dedicated to this greater good through your service. Very dedicated mother. You've got a lot going on with littles.
Yep.
We've talked about on the episode, solo episode, with those mornings that are just like, what the fuck? And I will say from my own experience, having a morning where my youngest is having a emotional struggle, he does not do well with Mondays.
Who does, right?
So, like, we didn't go to school the other day. That's how difficult it was. We just didn't go to school. And like that fucked up my. Oh, I'm like cursing today. Jesus. Okay.
Good. Bring it on.
Sorry, I hope I'm not offending anyone. Okay, so it messed up my whole day. It messed up Jake's day. And bless his heart, that was the lesson for the day. Whatever we all needed to learn. He ended up coming with me to hand out posters around town instead of going to school. And I was like, you know what? I feel like, okay, he learned a lot. No shade against school, but he learned a lot coming with me to hand out posters for my business. And seeing that resilience and seeing that just keep asking and reminding people and going out there in the world. So for you, being the woman that you are, I know you probably think about the example you're showing your children with how dedicated you are, not only to Authenticity 50, but to your acting career. That's a lot. So share with me about the challenges in this present moment. What are the wins? What are you learning?
You can't find balance. We know this. You can't be perfect. Very similar to what Johanna was saying is just trying to hone in, find what I need to do that day, prioritize, put the well-being of my littles first. We literally just got back from a trip last night to visit my family, so nothing's correctly charged. I'm just so happy to be here recentering with you ladies, just trying to set a good example for them, show them what hard work means, show them what it means to not give up, prioritizing them in the sense that if an audition or something comes up, I'm doing it after they go to bed or when they're not around, making sure that they're the priority. And it's not they see mom and dad working really hard. And some days it's a hard day, some days it's a better day, but we want to be present for them and make sure they see that no matter what happens, they come first and we will make sure that our schedules are working around them.
Okay, so Stephanie, where and how are you able to make time for you as a human through all of this? What's that look like?
Yeah, that's been a real struggle. It can entail going to a workout class, attending a session with Siri, since we live so close to each other, and I'm lucky enough and blessed to have Siri in my neighborhood. It can mean setting time, communicating to my husband, hey, I'm going to go see some of my mom friends. We're going to go out to dinner. I'm going to do this or that. Exercise for me has always been a very big mood shifter and just feeling my best. And yeah, with littles, it's a lot harder to carve out that fitness piece and that time for myself. But a class or getting a walk in, just trying to make the most of the minutes of the day, but also be mindful of like, you know what? It's okay. I may not have gotten in exactly what I wanted to do today, but that's okay. We're going to get through the day and we're going to just do what we can and be kind
Yeah, I've heard you talk about how much grace you know you have to give yourself, and then also the fact that you decided to take that time in Hawaii that you just took. I know that is so much of the self-care as well, even though it's not, it is, and it's not, and it's both, and it's juggling all of it. Last little question before we keep going is there a non-negotiable for you, like brushing your teeth?
Mm-hmm.
Just to give you another second to think, I know that you talked about in our interview, you said from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., there's a window where you are not on your phone. That is present time where you're not doing anything else. You're just being present. But for you, what is there a non-negotiable?
Great question. I will say sleep. We have a bedding company, a home goods company. Sleep is something I really try to do my best at getting at least 7 hours a night.
Yeah.
And then that piece of really trying to put the phone down when it's after we pick up the kids and having dinner and bedtime and bath time and the time with them, like really trying to set it aside and not deal with any devices, anything, and just be present.
Yeah, and do you have a cutoff time at night? I think you do, where you're like, I'm not picking the phone back up again. I'm not
I
going to look at it.
I really try. I've always been a night owl, but with kids, I can't because it's so
Yeah.
exhausting since my little one is up by 6. I try to wind everything down by 10.
Yeah.
10.
It's so incredible, Stephanie, that you, I mean, women are amazing and you're amazing. And what you're doing is amazing. And the fact that you get up every morning and you keep going is amazing. And the fact that you have such a standard of excellence in so many areas of your life is amazing. I know you have a lot of good friends in your community, and I know that you show up in so many ways. And so I'm just really proud of you and of all the women here and of the women listening for how we keep putting one foot in front of the other on the really fucking hard days and the really easy days. Continuing to walk that path, I think, is just so brave and incredible. And we don't always get a reward for that. We don't get oftentimes seen for the way we show up on the hard days. And so I wanted to take this moment to say, I see you guys. I see what you're doing, and way to go. Yeah.
Thank you, Siri. Thank you.
Yeah. Way to go. So, Dr. Stephanie, how are you doing in the life of a caretaker? I know a piece of your story, something that was a catalyst for you, Stephanie, is seeing your grandmother have like the insides of her brain. You were interested.
Yes.
Tell us the mini version of that
Come from a
story.
long line of caretakers. My grandmother, my rock, the one who made sure I had clothes and books and things and lunch money. She was a ICU nurse, and she ended up with Parkinson's and fell and got a subdural hematoma, and then ended up in the ICU that she had trained all of the nurses in. There was a really life-changing moment where I wanted to peer inside the burr hole that the neurosurgeon had made, and really that profound moment where I questioned my own sanity in a way. And I said internally, who does this? And then a voice, not my own and not my father's, said very loudly and very strongly, the physician inside you does. And so I sat in contemplation with that for a while. After her funeral was my divorce hearing, literally a day apart. And so I had nothing to lose. And so I tossed all of my chips in from a nice mid-level career, middle management space into a gamble, a wing and a prayer that medicine was something I was supposed to be doing. So I started med school in my 30s. Now I'm on the other side of it at the attending level and really trying to define what being a physician means to me. And how do I make a space as a caregiver that is aligned with my beliefs, my energy, my philosophy about nature and medicine in general. A lot of what everyone is talking about is echoing with me the systems of organization that we need, right? The bodies are organized as systems. The sense of collaboration and connection. You talk about the instruments in an orchestra. The organs are the instruments in this piece of art that we've been given. Time and energy and setting boundaries. And that's really what medicine has become for me, and teaching women how to set those boundaries and speak up for themselves and speak up for their body. So much of what we do is up here, right? So it's so important to make that connection with the body again. So in some ways, I'm an ambassador for your organic material, your meat suit, if you want to call it that. So really trying to connect the brain and the heart back together again.
Yeah. And so, how are you balancing this service that you give to others with caretaking your cats, 2 cats, caretaking, and taking care of ourself is a full-time job?
Yeah, I had
So,
to
what is the struggle for you in this moment? What is the win? What are you learning?
understanding my capacity.
Yeah.
What is my battery? What things are going to drain my battery the fastest? How do I space those things out so that I know I've resourced myself well to get through those hard days and those hard times? Currently, I've chosen to diversify my income. So I don't have one full-time job. I have 3 part-time jobs, so that if I need to take time and I do, that it's not impacting any one particular group. Like today, for example, I'm normally in an institutional kind of care space, and physically and mentally, I've been exhausted. So I've postponed that till tomorrow, made space for today. My work can get done when it needs to get done. I think you're right about being a woman of a certain age. You gain this wisdom, and then you don't have as much riding on people pleasing. You can say no. And I think
Mm,
that's important to do so when you know you're reaching your capacity and your limits.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And one thing that we didn't touch upon yet, which I think is important for me in this season, is perimenopause and what a
Yeah.
big deal that is and how we navigate it. So, I will just say for myself that it came crashing down when my youngest broke his arm when we were on vacation in Maui. And perimenopause was already in full swing. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I am really grateful that that catalyst came about because it did so much, not only for me to open to more deeper responsibility for myself, but to become a stronger mom and a stronger human and a stronger person of service to my clients and in the way that I show up for everything. So I think it is a threshold portal initiation that we can either look at as a dreadful thing or we can look at as something that we get to rise to and really use as a way of empowering ourselves and becoming stronger than we've ever been and trusting that wisdom.
Yeah, I think that's really the resilience component that we talk about a lot. Like, what is resilience? And I've been asked this before in other programs. And for me, resilience is about an alternator on our car or any of our phone batteries or anything. You're trying to recharge while still functioning.
Mhm.
In this stage of life, the mitochondrial function, the hormonal saturation is completely different, and you're working from a different chemistry. And so you really can't try to recharge while you're functioning. It truly has to be a separate function of your life. It has to be rest and then do, and then rest and then do.
Mhm.
And this is a season of invitation. It's an invitation to understand who you really are, what you really desire and need. I think up until this point, we're all in a pattern of expectation to meet other people's expectations. But this
Yes.
mindset shift that comes with a different saturation of hormones allows you a different vision, a
Mm.
vision of your own life, a vision of your own needs. And
Mm.
hard to do when you've set that precedent of people pleasing or performing and things like that. And I'm sure just as equally difficult in motherhood. So trying to balance then, but also model that it's okay to speak up for what you need. So relieve yourselves of the guilt about saying no and setting boundaries. It really is about teaching other humans that it's okay to protect their energies, to resource themselves well, and to say what they can and cannot do.
Got it. So good. Mm. Thank you.
You're
Good
welcome.
stuff. Okay. Tabitha and I go way back. We were in a company together for a long while, and then I got the privilege of teaching her Reiki. And now she's also a breathwork facilitator. She's a very dedicated mother. She's a leader in different realms and is of service to so many people. You just led 1,000 people in breathwork the other day. You've gone through so many seasons. You've been a teacher, you've been a leader in health and wellness, now breathwork facilitator. I'm sure there's two other things you do. In this particular season of growth, what's the challenge that's standing out for you? What's one of the wins that's really coming through? And what is the wisdom that wants to come through in this moment about that?
Well, first of all, thank you. It's so nice to be in your energy again. And thank you for holding space. As a facilitator, I hold space for others, but you held such a beautiful container. And thank you all together. It was a really powerful session for me. I feel like together we are better. So thank you for that. It's been a windy road, but every part of my journey, whether it's teaching, entrepreneurship, caring for my mom, raising family, becoming a hypnotherapist, the Reiki, and now breath work, it's all brings the best of me together. And every amazing part of my path, good, bad, and ugly, has given me the wisdom to be able to authentically hold space for others. So I feel like I'm in exactly where I need to be. My kids are much older than it sounds like many of you on this call. I have a 26-year-old and a 23-year-old. And even though one's on the other side of the country and one is 3 hours away and they both run businesses, still, it might not be a crying child like you think within your home. It might be a crying child, whether they are actually crying or metaphorically, because you know that they need you in a different capacity, that your day can be turned upside down because they are still a priority in my life. And I love that they know that. So, how do I handle the overwhelm if there are so many parts to my life? I first and foremost, with gratitude, know that this is the life I created or is unfolding for me. Some parts are not what I would have consciously created. I try to stay in gratitude. As simple as the idea of I get really clear about the woman I want to be. And I'm far from perfect, far from perfect. I fuck up all the time. Coming back to who do I want to be? How do I really want to show up in the world? It just helps me stay present, helps me prioritize, like all of these ladies have said, helps me set boundaries, and it helps me live in the essence of the flow of who I am. So I get out of the performing. I'm still stretching, I'm still striving, I'm still really wanting to make massive impact, but it allows me to come back to who am I? What's aligned? And how do I want to show up in this moment?
Yeah, I have a question for you, Tabitha. Thank you for that. High achiever that you are, that we all are. Do you have a way of not constantly moving the goalpost forward in a way that it feels like you never get to just be present? What is your relationship to being a high achiever in that sense? Yeah.
And it's a delicate dance. It's not one I've mastered, but I am better than I was. It's sitting in the beauty, in the miracle of what I am doing right now. There's nowhere I'd rather be than in this discussion with these incredible women. And I know that I'm going to learn, and I do intend to be able to offer something, but I am right here, right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about the next goal. What I am is in this moment. How can I show up as the best me possible right now?
Yeah.
So I think that's the first. And celebrating wins. We forget as high achievers, we forget to celebrate our own wins. And yet we would probably be out there cheering other people and reminding them of the wins. When I had that opportunity to hold space for so many in a breathwork session, I remember thinking in that moment, this is what you asked for.
Yes.
This is what you asked for. So I wasn't thinking, well, what's going to happen next or what's the next? I was just like, you've done it. Enjoy it. Learn from it. Grow from it.
Yeah, that was exactly the follow-up question I was just going to ask you was how do you celebrate the wins? How do you pause and enjoy the achievement? You answered it without me asking. More specifically, do you have any kind of rituals that you're like, this is going to be my specific reward or way of enjoying this or way of anchoring this win into the body? Is it going to the sun or having a bath or having a spa day or buying a new outfit? Do you have some sort of reward system?
To be really transparent and honest, it's whether I can do it out loud or not. It's like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And more, please, if that is what's next for me. Like I look up because sometimes I'm in the midst of it. So others wouldn't have a clue, but I hope you can energetically feel that when I say thank you, thank you, thank you, my heart explodes, like eyes start sweating. And it's in that moment. I love to enjoy a glass of wine with my husband on date night and reflect on what I learned, what it felt like, where my fears were. So sometimes telling somebody that I really care about the experience for me allows me to relive it, celebrate the win with somebody, share it with somebody, and continue to learn from it and evolve from it.
Yeah, I love that you said share with your husband and have dinner and a glass of wine because it's so interesting where our safe space is to celebrate those wins. I don't always share with my whole everyone that, friends or every person in my family. It's like, where's the safe person that's gonna celebrate with me? And sometimes I have to be the one to celebrate myself to the extent when I reach that goal that I want to be celebrated because kind of no one else is really doing it the way I want them to. So I have to really give it to myself. Like you did that. Yeah. Okay. Elizabeth Munoz.
Yes,
What I do know about you is you're on stages.
I am.
And I know you're outspoken. And I know that doesn't necessarily mean you're an extrovert, although you may be. But I'm sure you have ways that you need to contract. Tell me more about you, the ways you're caretaking, the wins, the struggles, what you're learning.
So age, I'm actually 43, just turned. I have been married since 2019 with my husband since 2013. I have 4 children, and the age ranges are my oldest is 22 and my youngest is 7. So I have 3 boys and a girl. And so I have 22, 14, 8, and 7.
Damn.
Yeah, 2 dogs, and just recently acquired 2 little chicks from my kids' school. That's been interesting. I grew up being an introvert. I was that little kid that was in nature always. When we got to go on the playground, I'm in the grass and I'm playing with the ladybugs and just really connected and used to stare at the stars. But I didn't have a lot of friends. And I realized as an adult, when I was in corporate, that I became an extrovert. So I was in corporate for 17 years, and the last 11 were really high capacity, high performing sales. And ultimately led myself into burnout because I was always on, always proving, and always performing. And when I got out, I like to blame corporate America for me being in that kind of hustle culture. But when I got out and I started my own business, I started doing it again. And I was recreating those same cycles for myself. And I would sit at my computer for hours on end, and my kids would get home. And I'm like, no, I just got in a flow. Like, I can't be distracted. I can't be bothered. What I realized is I really had to go deep to figure out where the healing needed to happen, how I could return home to myself, how I could start to celebrate those small wins. What came through at that time was sacred sisterhood. That was the big thing that I was missing so much because growing up, I had only older brothers, older male cousins. I was surrounded by men. And so it was a very, very masculine environment. And really leaning into sisterhood and finding other women that were having the same challenges and same struggles, and being able to realize, hey, we're in this together. Talking about the witching hour, women in the past, we used to gather in community and we would dance and we would chant and we would sing, and that's how we would commune.
And go in a tent and bleed together. Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that has been my homecoming. And that is where I started to build the business model. And that's where the chief emotional officer came from, because so many women are trapped in this cycle and realizing that we get to dictate, we can have it all, but it looks different for all of us. So what all look like for each of us. And now it's about being the best version of me and really working on that. And even if I can only spend 30 minutes with each of my children, making sure those 30 minutes are truly present. That way I'm showing up as the best version of me. And it's a remembrance of doing things like this and doing the breath work and release, so that we're not really strung when our kids get home and we're able to just have fun and play with them and be in the moment and joy. And yeah, so that's really what drives me and what I'm trying to help put out in the world, and the message that I want other women to realize that they can do that too.
Yeah. I'm so curious as you're sharing, what do you do with all those children when you are preparing for a big event, or you've just come off something that's really important to you and you're holding a lot for others, and they're having a time and coming at you, either attacking you or anchoring with you like boys can do, anchoring to the mom like, "Arr," or crying, that dysregulation. If they're in that and you're doing this big thing over here, or just did this big thing over here, how do you deal with that? How do you create space for that? How do you be patient with that? What do you do?
I have rituals, ceremonies that I practice, and I've also integrated sacred technology. So, being certified through the HeartMath Institute, I do a lot of work with heart mind coherence. I do use my tools, so my inner balance, my M wave. A big part of it is reconnecting to the breath. And so, I try to practice first thing in the morning to get really, really grounded so that when I'm in the thick of it, I remember to do it too. So if I don't prep myself in the morning, then I know when I'm in the moment, I just forget it, and then you start to feel it. But I have that mental checklist. So if I start to feel myself, things are rising, tension, energy, and I'm getting frustrated, I take a moment and I just breathe and I return home and I think to myself, okay, did I dance today? Because dancing is huge for me. I love dancing. And so it's like, okay, did I dance? Did I breathe? Did I do my box breathing, or did I do that heart-centered focused breathing? Did I get sunlight, or did I use a lot of essential oils? I have this little toolkit, a mental one, and then I go through that checklist and I'm like, all right, what do I need to do? But I'll carry these things with me. I'm forever surrounded by essential oils and crystals and reminders to ground. Sometimes I'm really open with the kids. So I'll tell them, hey, Mom's feeling a little overwhelmed right now. I really need space. And then this has been the hardest part. My 22-year-old, he's a little lost and he doesn't make the best of decisions. And as much as I tried to guide him, his dad disappeared when he was really young. And so he has a lot of anger around that. And even with all the work that I do, I have to surrender to my higher power and divinity. And sometimes just say it's okay to let them live their lives and know that I can't control it. And the things that are in my control, I have to surrender to. So that's another big part for me, is surrender.
That discernment of this is their path and maybe they need to be angry right now, as opposed to I need to solve it. A lot of times the answer I'm finding is just giving space and then they solve it.
Yeah.
If I can give space, depending on what the situation is.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Wow, you're incredible. So, Robin Cohen. Robin's been on every panel for almost 2 years now, I believe, because her heart and her soul and her mind are so inspiring to me. And she's such a cheerleader and she does a million things, but she manages to be present 100% when she's present and is such a giver and cares for so many people. You care for your parents, you care for your students as an acting teacher, you care for everyone you're ever in a room with, and you have deep connection to universe and God. You have a really big mission. You inspire anyone in your path. And so for you, Robin, in this moment, what is the struggle with being a caretaker and an entrepreneur? You could, because you run a business, you have an acting school, and you're an actor, and you're a caretaker. What are the wins? What are you learning? You always have this nugget that I take in and I implement. What is it today?
Well, thank you for that acknowledgement, and thank you for everything everyone has shared. That moves me so deeply as I look around at Heather and Stephanie and Johanna and Tabitha and Elizabeth and Steph and Siri, you. I feel like two things. I feel on my knees with gratitude for the luck that we have. We call it luck in the English language, but there's something else, just being sort of born. We've been talking about witches, and they say in nature, the remedy is a step away from the problem. And I think entrepreneurship is being the remedy to problems for ourselves and others, and resourcing ourselves and the world around us and the people around us to provide something of value for people. Entrepreneurially, what I am discovering, like 50 years into this process of being an earthling, is that as a thriving survivor of sexual abuse and diagnosed with complex PTSD, I am so present to what with everything that everyone has shared and what I feel my experience is, it occurs for me. This whole thing about being an entrepreneur is turning what looked like a real mess in your life into a dynamic, miraculous message for other people. And so I am both constantly in the process of bringing myself through your teaching, Siri, and the teaching of everyone in this room. Like, we were just saying the resources are right there. The fact that I get to know you and the people in this room, whether I've met you on this plane or not, I feel so connected, and the oneness with all of you. I am, yeah, just brought to my knees. It's breathtaking how many people and places and events are conspiring for our good, and remembering that on the daily and using the practices, because they're only words unless they're true. Siri, in the breath work, when you were talking about the third eye, what the fuck is your third eye? But I'll tell you, having been in your breathwork sessions now for a couple of years and getting the learnings from you and the teachers that we've been exposed to, they're only words until they're true. And so right now I'm on a mission to actually metabolize the learnings of 5 decades, to metabolize them in a way that I could begin to scratch the surface and make a difference with people in the way that you are and the people in this room are. I'm so humbled. I think, Steph, you and I are the ones that don't have children. Is that right? The rest of us have children. I feel so humbled by that you all do what you do in the world, and you are the source of life for like 16 children between all of us. It makes me want to do better. And it's so obvious what my mission is. Guys, like, you're in this room and you know Siri, and we're all connected through the oneness, but it's so obvious what our mission is. The giving of light, and that you do that not only in your nuclear families, but on a global level. It presences me to the opportunity going forth in the next 50 years of like, it's so obvious and it's so simple, and the resources are here for us to be the conduit, to be the light, and to continue to transform that mess into a message that could make the world a little bit better. So that's the game. And thank you for including me in this. And thank you for the service and the contribution that you all are, and being the phenomenal source of life for your children. You're making starlight. You're bringing heaven to earth in what you're doing. And it's miraculous. And you're my inspirations. Thank you. You are my North Stars and guiding lights. And Siri, I just watched Wicked again, Wicked Part 2 on the airplane.
Yeah.
I'm changed for good, for knowing you. So thank you. Thank you.
I so wish we could all get together at 4 a.m. and do witchy things. I really wish we could.
We can. You know, and
we're doing it now.
Yeah. And thank you for saying that, Tabitha, because I lead women's retreats and circles. And if you guys want to get together, I don't have a plan for my next retreat, but you're welcome to tell me where you want to go, and we'll get together and we'll do witchy things. Also, I just want to share that I am here not to just do breath work for these panels, but I'm here to facilitate breath work. Robin makes me cry every time. I'm here to facilitate your breathwork journey. If this felt good to you, if this resonated for you, whether you're listening or whether you're here today as a leader, leaders hold space and they need space holders. Space holders need space holders. So if you're a high achieving leader or a mother or a caretaker and you want space held for you because you do so much and you hold so much and you are so much to so many, you're the world to so many, I would love to hold space for you. So please be in touch with me. This is our after party. Go ahead and share anything that feels like it's unfinished for you. Stephanie Minter.
Just kind of synthesize everything. We were talking about this phase in life where we now get to choose what it is we want to do. You've gotten your younglings to a point where they're surviving, and so they can come along with you now on this adventure. And it is about the light that we have to give, the light that we have to share. And part of that is modeling it for the next generation to come. And whether we embrace hustle culture or rise in defiance of it, that's all well within our right to choose. Elizabeth, I haven't met you, but I feel like we're soul sisters from another timeline. It's hard for me to be myself, my crystal loving, feather collecting, salt lamp with my skeletons. I tried to integrate both sides of who I am, the practical scientific version and this lovely organic star seed soul fragment piece of the one. It's all about how each of us reflects what is ours to do, what is our gift to share. And so thanks for having us all here to share in this space and to give a little while also being the safe space and being able to care for each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that Elizabeth brought up the sisterhood, and Stephanie, that you're synthesizing more of this and alchemizing it for us as well. Thank you for that. Johanna.
Thank you, everyone who said so many amazing things that I needed to hear today. Something that came up was kind of touched upon, but has been up for me a lot lately is this realization that I can be more of a giver and more myself when I allow others to be their own caretakers sometimes.
Mm,
When I really I was thinking about the book Let Them and the book
yes.
The Emotional Lives of Teenagers. Both of them, and I'm sure many others, talk about there are going to be wild ups and downs with especially the young people in our lives. My son has his big ups and downs. My mom, I caretake my mom as well. The people in my lives are going to have big upheavals. I don't have to go on that journey with them. I can let them have that journey. And when I can trust that they are taken care of by the same divine power that takes care of me, I have to ask for guidance. When do I step in and when do I step back? But in stepping back, which I've done a little bit more in this year, I've watched a lot of my creative potential really flower as I've allowed some of the people in my life to do their own thing. And that's on me. I was the one trying to get in there and fix everything because I think I'm so capable. I've got so much to give. But part of my journey this year has been learning where I really want to give. What's the
Mm,
deeper impulse? What's the higher thing for me to give? And what do I have to let go of in order to do that?
yeah, that is such an important part.
I wanted Robin to talk about her insight. She taught me something this year about menopause, and I wanted you to tell everybody else.
Oh, oh, yes. So briefly, in the United States of America, menopause is a thing that is sort of shrouded and mysterious and not talked about, and a revisiting of a shame that a lot of young women feel through puberty with hair and smells and periods. And it's like this shame cycle that tends to repeat itself in the Western world. In China, they don't have the word menopause, and this may be true for other cultures and in other languages. They call what we call the torment and confusion of menopause, they simply call it your second spring.
Mm.
Cherry blossoms in every direction. That was helpful to me as I am in full bloom.
Yes, I love
Reminding
that.
me that, Johanna. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Thank you. I've been reminding other people. I've been telling other people, and I'm like, wait, I can't say it here. Robin has to say it. She taught me.
Johanna, back to what you were sharing about the let them and the ego wanting to step in because we're so capable and thinking that because we're so capable and we have so much wisdom and so many solutions and because we care so much that we need to step in, and going through this phase of learning how to release and trust and witness in more neutrality, trusting their life. I find that to be so interesting because it's such a good observation of ourselves to be able, such an ego death, to be able to look and see where we're getting in our own way and where we're getting in their way. And I have also noticed with my husband, particularly yesterday, him having a struggle at lunch. We sat, he made us lunch, we talked. I said, "What's going on?" He's so tired. It's so hard. Screenwriting is so hard. It's such a difficult roller coaster ride. He thinks the project is happening. Hurry up, wait. Hurry up, wait. When is this happening? Is this ever going to happen? Big roller coaster ride. And so normally, because the part of me that's codependent, the part of me that's I'm not okay unless you're okay, showed up. I noticed it and I went, I can just let him have his funky mood and have his challenge, and I don't have to tell him 5 ways to make it better. And sure enough, I went on about my cleaning and clearing and decluttering, Heather, and I came back to an hour later at the most, and he had gotten a response from the producer. And it was like, "Yeah, I'm fine now. I'm great. I'm happy." And just like kids are, when they're 2 seconds later and they're like totally fine, you're like, why did I worry? It was a perfect example of what you were just sharing. Oh, wow. I got to viscerally experience that feeling of staying as neutral as possible, letting him have his roller coaster, not having to go on that ride with him, and then just being like, wow, I really don't need to do as much as I think I do. I can just do less. It's great. That's great.
I think that's such a great lesson because that's what I've been doing. And my boys teach me that all the time. They're always like, I got it. I have 3 boys, so they're always reminding me, no, I can do this. And that's what I was saying in the beginning when I used to always be like motherly to everybody and telling everybody what to do, what they should do with their life. I have learned so much to let people just do their own thing and maybe just be the ear to hear, because that's really all everybody wants.
True. Oh my gosh.
But
So true. How
and
many
it's
times
always,
do we learn that lesson?
that's right. It's so easy to give advice for everybody else's life, but it's a little bit harder to do our own lives. Yeah.
Speaking of simplifying, just briefly, I took on a practice, a very practical practice. It caught me by surprise, and now it's the most delightful part of my day. I've only started doing this within the last month. You know how we treat our favorite furry friends like, "Hey, pretty. Hi, hi, lovey. Hi, pretty. Oh."
Totally.
If you need a chuckle or a guffaw, just think of me in the morning as a practice, treating myself in the mirror as my favorite furry friend. I've never done this before. It looks psychotic, but it goes something like this. Hi, hi, pretty. Hi, baby. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. So if you ever need to uplift your spirits, just imagine that I have literally taken on this practice, because to not do it is a level of self-deprivation and lack of self-love so big. I can't even imagine that I haven't done this more recently. So
okay,
anyway,
we're doing it. We're gonna do it
as soon as I get off this call. Just so you know.
You do it, Johnny. You do it.
So I'm about to do it as soon as
we're gonna do it. We're gonna
Hey,
do it.
Pretty, look at that twinkle in your eye. Hi, baby. You're so cute. Yes, you're so cute. Chime in.
I'm saying it to all of you. Hi, cutie.
Or said another way, Johanna, how would we treat like our dearest, yummiest friend?
You should go around doing this to other humans. Like
ourselves that way. Yes. Yes.
It's hilarious. Like, it'd be amazing if we did that to all humans. I see, like, my mother does this every time we walk down the street. She like runs right to the dogs. But I'm like, we should be doing this to each other. And be like, hi, cutie. Hi. You're so cute.
I'm so much nicer to my dogs than I am to anyone else.
I've facilitated retreats before and even in workshops. The hardest challenge that I've found women have, and I've now realized it's not just women, is I do mirror work. And so have them look in a mirror and then make eye contact and kind of sit with that for a minute. And then just like self-love, like, I love you. I love you. And really feeling into that. And then like, you are enough. You've always been enough. You're perfect the way you are. It is amazing. That is the hardest challenge that we have. Because typically we look in a mirror and it's like judgment, like what's wrong, what's missing, what you need to perfect in the mirror, versus giving yourself that appreciation and love. And I did this with my 14-year-old teenage boy the other day, and he could not make eye contact in the mirror and tell himself he loved himself. And I was like, ooh, that really hit home as a mom. I really need to do this work with all the kids because it's huge. And to your point, Robin, this is something we should be doing all the time, and using that mirror as a way to mirror back how much we appreciate. These bodies are allowing us to incarnate and spread these beautiful messages and experience this beautiful, amazing life with all its ups and downs and turmoils. And so just giving appreciation to all that is, no matter what season we're in. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it. All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to end us with a poem, of course. So here we go. There is a way women are taught to live that separates everything: care from ambition, softness from power, home from work, self from service. And then there is the way it actually unfolds. You learn to listen to your body, to what is true, to what is no longer working. You learn to slow down enough to hear yourself again. And from there, you begin to create. You create from alignment, from something real that wants to move through you. You build it in pieces, in between conversations, in between responsibilities, in the spaces you choose to claim for yourself. You show up. You offer your work. You learn how to be seen without performing. You learn how to let things grow at the pace that they are meant to grow. And you learn that care is not something that takes you away from your path. It refines it. It teaches you where your energy goes. It teaches you what matters. It teaches you how to stay without losing yourself. Over time, you stop trying to force a version of life that was never meant for you. You stop looking outside for the way to do it. You begin to trust your own timing, your own voice, your own rhythm. And something steadier takes root, a way of living where you can create and care and be fully inside your life at the same time, where your work is not separate from who you are, but an extension of it, and where success is measured by how honestly you live and create and choose. I love you each so much. I love you for the path that you are walking courageously every day, step by step. I love you for living outside of the boxes of the expected. I love you for being just the incredible souls that you are, for showing up today, for giving us your vulnerability and your wisdom. Thank you for sharing the real. What a blessing this has been. Please share, please review the podcast. Listener, please review the podcast. If you got value out of this, please share it. Don't keep it to yourself. Share the love, share the medicine of this transmission. I love you guys so much. Keep expanding your capacity to feel good, one breath at a time. Bye for now.
Thank you, Siri. God bless you. Thank you.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
What I am aware of after this conversation is how many of us are trying to hold so much at once while still longing to stay connected to ourselves. And maybe one of the biggest reminders from this panel is that we do not have to abandon ourselves in order to care deeply for others. We talked about learning to stop overfunctioning, learning to let people have their own journeys, learning to trust that rest is productive, learning that boundaries are not selfish, learning that presence matters more than perfection. There was such a powerful thread throughout this whole conversation around women remembering themselves again, returning to the body, returning to breath, returning to sisterhood, returning to what is actually sustainable. I also loved the reminder that we are allowed to celebrate ourselves while we are living our lives instead of constantly moving the goalpost forward. And honestly, the conversation around menopause being called second spring completely changed things for me, because this is what this season feels like for so many women: a shedding, a reckoning, a softening, a becoming, and a return to what is true. If this episode resonated with you and you are craving deeper support, deeper release, deeper nervous system healing, deeper connection to yourself, I would love to work with you. I offer a private 3-month online breathwork and Reiki container for women who are holding a lot and are ready to be held too. And if retreat spaces are calling you, I have intimate upcoming retreats, including Reiki by the Sea, a residency for Reiki practitioners in Depot Bay, Oregon from June 28th to July 1st. Everything I create is rooted in nervous system safety, authenticity, embodiment, sisterhood, breath, Reiki, and creating spaces where women can fully exhale. You can learn more at sageandblushwellness.com or connect with me on Instagram at Siri Baruch Thornton. And if today's conversation stirred something in you, here are a few ways we can go deeper together. So the Authentic Creative Podcast, where you are now, make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss more conversations like this. And if you loved this one, share it with a friend who needs to hear it. One-on-one work for private Reiki, breathwork, Akashic sessions where we can go right into your unique medicine. You can connect with me directly. Reach out to me once again. Thank you for being here, for listening, for expanding your capacity to feel good alongside me. I'm sending you love, and I can't wait to connect again soon. Loving you.